Hello, hello. Back in the basement. Obviously talking about tools. Especially, in particular, this tool. What is this? This is a little tiny hand tool, or hand plane, made by Goodall. Now, Goodall existed for 2 years. 1894, 1895. And then they were presumed to have been purchased by Stanley. Stanley went around purchasing everyone back in the day. They purchased all these old companies to put their competition out, but to also take their patents. So this Goodall plane, it's called the Goodall 25, in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. This is the world's first self-setting plane. Big whoop. So, self-setting has to do with this screw. This screw is attached to a bracket behind the cap, or behind the blade. And that bracket rides in a slot in this screw. When you turn the screw to the right, it moves that blade down. When you turn the screw to the left, it moves that blade up. It's a very interesting little technology. Now, before Stanley bought this company, the backs of their planes looked similar to this. I mean, this is a block plane. It's a different, completely different tool. But most of them, you had to whack this blade with a hammer to move the blade in. And then you whack the tool with a hammer to move the blade back. It's a neat little physics trick. But this one, man, what a thing of engineering for 1894. It's really quite a thing. So they spent all this effort on these tools, this screw, all the machining on this. And then they left that there. What is this? It is original. They did that to this on purpose. Oh, I don't know who this had to get through, but I would imagine the designers, the manufacturers, their wives. I mean, if I were the guy designing this and brought it home to my wife and was like, yo, what do you think? She'd be like, yo, what's that screw? It makes no sense to me why that's there. I mean, maybe they just got screws that were too long. I don't know. Most planes, in the end, I'll show you. So, most ends look like this. There's a hole that something moves up into. I don't have any loose ones. But yeah, this is a sunken brass screw head inside here. Kind of like how this one is in the front. Or how this one is in the front. Why would you do this to the front? I get it, this is a knob, your hand's on top of it. It's a little tiny, tiny thing though. And yeah, your hand isn't likely to hit this, but maybe that's why Stanley bought Goodall and Goodall didn't buy Stanley? No, that's not why. Stanley bought Goodall for that. Pretty neat. It's a very neat tool. But I just don't understand, like, who spends all this effort to design a tool and puts this on it? I mean, my nephew could have done a better job. I mean, it makes it interesting. That's why, it's kind of why I love this thing so much. it's definitely unique. And being the first self-setting plane that ever was produced, I think that's a pretty cool tool to have. Most of mine from now on, I think I'm going to try and stick with Stanley's. I'm going to try and go for a three serial numbers. Look inside, there's 3 serial numbers on the plate, on the base. I'm going to try and stick with that. But yeah, this is a very interesting tool, so I couldn't leave it there. Especially for, I mean, it was not much money. But it's interesting. And even plain people would look at it and be like, huh, who made that? Samuel frickin' Goodall made that. Did you hear me? Samuel Goodall is responsible for this. What are you doing, dude? Like, what are you doing? I love it though. Thank you. Thank you for whatever that is. I will appreciate it every time it cuts my hand. I mean, I'd imagine you'd only cut yourself when you're picking your tool up and not using it. But this one's not going to get an awful lot of love from me as far as finishing. I'll probably, I don't like this, I don't know. It's a little bit beat up. And I'm not a huge fan of the glossy, especially when the knob is not glossy. I mean, this looks like a plane that somebody found and said, hey, I've got a screw I can put on that and a different piece of wood that's finished different. But no, it was designed like this. Honest to God, it was designed like this. You can Google it. Goodall 25. I don't get it. But anyway, this is probably all getting sanded off. I don't even know what kind of wood this is. This looks like some sort of reddish. It's got a red glow to it, which, I mean, it's not rosewood. I don't know. Who knows? It's probably cheap wood with this cheap ass screw. It's really not even a screw, it's like a bolt. Maybe back then that was like a thing. Like, ooh, 1895, look what we made, a bolt. Yeah, quite the feat of engineering though. And literally, I could take this right now and make shavings with it. Not a problem. The blade is completely screwed though. So yeah, somebody hit some nails with it. So the blade's gonna have to get ground down, sharpened, then honed. And I have myself a really neat little, smaller than number 3 size. Very cool. Again, like I'm baffled as to why anybody would do, why would you do such a thing to a tool? I mean, what? I don't get it. I mean, it's like, it's so pretty, and then this. Sammy, what are you doing, bud? Samuel Goodall, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, putting bolts on tools. I don't understand him. So anyway, if you want to see me restore that, I'll probably do a video. It's not going to look an awful lot different than it does now. I mean, this is going to be dull, and this is going to match this in dullness. I don't want to take a lot of the patina off of it because it's pretty cool. And obviously I don't want to do anything about this crazy ass thing on the end of it, but who does that? All right, I guess like and subscribe. It just, who does this? I don't get that.